For centuries, a great African empire stood defiant, protected by a fortress so vast it rivaled the wonders of the world. This is the story of the Kingdom of Benin, the city of the Leopard King, and the tragic fall of its legendary walls in West Africa. Long before the 19th century drew to a close, the Kingdom of Benin was a powerhouse. Its capital, Edo, was the heart of an empire whose influence stretched far and wide, but the city's true strength lay in its defenses, the Great Walls of Benin. This wasn't just one wall, but a sprawling network of earthen ramparts and deep moats, built over 500 years. It enclosed over 6,000 square kilometers of land, a monumental feat of engineering often described as the largest earthwork ever built, second only in length to the Great Wall of China. For hundreds of years, these walls made Benin City a virtually impenetrable fortress, a symbol of the Edo people's power and ingenuity. By the late 1800s, the kingdom was ruled by the powerful Oba Ovonramwen. He fiercely guarded Benin's independence, controlling its rich trade in palm oil, rubber, and ivory. While European powers scrambled for Africa's resources, Benin refused to bow to British economic pressure. This stubborn independence set the stage for a catastrophic collision between an ancient African kingdom and the world's most powerful industrial empire. The breaking point came in January 1897. A British official, acting Consul General James Phillips, decided to force the issue. He organized what he called a peace mission to Benin City. But it was a massive, unauthorized expedition. Phillips knew the Oba was in the middle of important religious ceremonies, during which no foreigners were allowed. He was warned repeatedly to turn back, but he arrogantly pushed forward. The Benin chiefs, seeing this as an invasion, felt they had no choice. They ambushed the British column, and the result was a massacre. Phillips and almost his entire party were killed. This single, violent event gave the British the perfect excuse they needed for what they had wanted all along. The news sparked outrage in Britain. Within a month, the Punitive Expedition of 1897 was assembled. Over 1,000 heavily armed troops, led by Admiral Harry Rawson, set sail with a clear and brutal mission: overthrow the Oba, conquer the capital, and seize the kingdom's wealth. The British forces advanced on Benin City. The Great Walls, which had repelled invaders for centuries, now faced a new kind of enemy: modern artillery and Maxim machine guns. The Edo warriors fought with incredible courage, but their traditional weapons were no match for the overwhelming firepower of the British. The ramparts were blasted open, the moats were crossed, and the British soldiers poured into the capital. The city that had stood for centuries was engulfed in a final, desperate battle. What happened next was not just a conquest, it was a deliberate act of cultural destruction. Benin City was systematically looted, house by house. The British soldiers then set the city on fire, and it burned for days. Their primary target was the palace and its immense treasures. This led to one of the most infamous cultural thefts in history. Thousands of priceless artifacts, intricate bronze plaques, ivory carvings, and brass statues were stolen. These were the Benin Bronzes, the historical records and spiritual soul of the kingdom. They were shipped to London as spoils of war and sold off to pay for the expedition. Oba Ovonramwen eventually surrendered to save his people from further slaughter. He was put on trial and exiled, dying years later, far from his home. His removal marked the end of the independent Benin Kingdom. The Great Walls, once a symbol of sovereignty and strength, were left broken and silent, a solemn reminder of a fallen empire. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story important, consider subscribing for more history that needs to be told.